Sunday morning, getting up when I was a kid. Headed down towards that steeple, that's what folks back then did. We'd sing all five.
Hey everyone, my name is Derek Martin. I have ADHD and I'm a recovering addict. I'm here today making this video to make people aware there is a huge problem that children, teens, and adults with mental health issues are affected dramatically and has a huge negative impact with you at some point in life, because I was. I was diagnosed at the age of 8 years old with ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, along with conduct disorder. ADHD is one of the most common disorders of childhood and adolescence and does not occur to the same degree in all people diagnosed with the disorder. Healthcare professionals recognize that there are three main combinations of characteristics. Some people have predominantly hyperactive impulsive type, some have predominantly inattentive type, and some have a combined type of both of those. First of all, hyperactivity or impulsive behaviors. Fidgeting, trouble interacting quietly, interrupting others, always being on the go. Inattention, being disorganized, being forgetful, being easily distracted, finding it difficult to sustain attention during tasks or learning activities. And along with those negative effects, there are also positive characteristics associated with this disorder. For example, inability to see the big picture and good attention to detail, creativity and inventiveness, risk-taking can produce important discoveries, and ability to process information and make broader observations, high levels of energy, good negotiation skills, intuitiveness and reactivity, ability to hyperfocus. Now, ADHD can impact on learning, teaching, and training. Potential areas of difficulty for those with ADHD may include inattention, disrupted by their own thoughts of daydreaming, moving quickly onto a new topic of conversation before finishing the current one, and producing work that is of variable quality. Also, there is impulsiveness and impairment of internal speech, finishing other people's sentences and or interrupting. I do that quite often. Short-term memory, poor note-taking ability, poor hindsight and forethought, leading to an ability to learn from mistakes or draw on previous experience. And guys, there are many ways of working on those. For example, I'm using Lumosity.com right now, the brain training program, and that is helping very well with memory and various things. Okay, now there's also mood swings ranging from restlessness and fidgety behavior to procrastinating, affecting coursework and revision of examinations. I see that a lot in myself as well. Poor organization and time management, risk-taking, problem-solving, interpersonal relationship and emotional functioning. Students may appear sociable, but friendships can be superficial. Issues associated with medication, this can affect sleep patterns. Now, with the right medication, all this can be resolved, but it still lingers with you because I see a lot of these symptoms in myself being diagnosed with ADHD. Now, moving on to conduct disorder, give a brief explanation of that as well. The specific behaviors used to produce a diagnosis of conduct disorder fall into four groups. Aggressive conduct disorder that causes or threatens physical harm to other people or animals. Non-aggressive behavior that causes property loss or damage, deceitfulness or theft, and serious violations of rules. A lot of that I've done in the past when I was younger. Two subtypes of conduct disorder can be delineated based on the age that symptoms first appear. childhood onset type is appropriate for children showing at least one of the behaviors in question before the age of 10. Adolescence onset type is defined by the same absence of any conduct disorder criteria before the age of 10. Severity may be described as mild, moderate, severe, depending on the number of exhibited and their impact on other people. So, as you can see, I was diagnosed with some pretty severe stuff, but some of it was positive as well. To start it off, I was a troublemaker in class, could never sit still, so that resulted in phone calls home from teachers. And let me tell you, parents were not happy for some of those phone calls. I started on my medication, as some of you know, as Ritalin, which had helped me quite some bit. But as I grew older, I began not to take my meds because I was too cool for it. But that's where it went downhill. I began to be more rebellious than ever, and my parents were struggling with my poor attitude and behavior. Then came along a thing called the gateway drug. Weed, marijuana, pot, whatever you want to call it. From there, once I tried that, it was even worse. I began to smoke every day, looking for change, asking my mother for $5 here and there to get some pot. And when I started high school, it was everywhere. Everyone was doing it. So I started to do it even more. And being diagnosed with ADHD and conduct disorder, to me, everything I was doing wasn't wrong but right. And I was in denial. I started to skip class, hand stuff in late, and just bad in basic terms. I was a shit disturber. All my money was going towards pot, and then alcohol came along. I started to drink, which was even worse, puking every weekend, drinking until I blacked out because it felt like the right thing to do. At the age of 17, I drank a 40-ouncer of vodka, went out to the club, and the next night I was puking blood and went to the hospital, spent 2 nights on IV, almost killed myself. No joke, this really happened. And the doctor told me if I kept drinking the way I was drinking, within the next 5 years I could possibly kill myself. When I didn't have the money to do those things, I would steal from my loved ones. My mother, I would steal her change from her jar every day to have enough money to split on joints with friends. And to make things worse, I once pawned my father's wedding ring. He thankfully got it back. Thank the good Lord for that, because I felt like, let's just say, a piece of shit. One time I started to steal out of my neighbor's vehicle his change, and this is just weed, guys. Let me remind you, this is when I was just smoking pot. I was doing these horrible things. So it does ruin your life. And my disorders that led me to do all of this. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine all of that over weed? I still can't to this day. It blows my mind. ADHD conduct disorder is a big deal, and the world needs to be more aware of this. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. Keep an eye out for my next video. I'll be talking about what I experimented with after weed and my multiple suicide attempts. How crazy it really got. If you or someone you know suffers from these disorders, like or share this with them. Remember, it's never too late. I'm living proof of that, and I will share my journey with you. Thanks. Bye for now.
Sunday morning, getting up when I was a kid. Headed down towards that steeple, that's what folks back then did. We'd sing all 5 of them verses from Amazing Grace. And Daddy dropped hard-earned money in the offering plate. After Sunday school, it was Davis Brothers chicken. Tea was sweeter than molasses. Funny how time passes. Never knew back then how my life would be now. How far I wander off that narrow road I went down. Don't know where I'm going or where it's all gone. Sometimes I feel like I sold my soul for a song. Surrounded by all of these 6-string dreams, standing in the spotlight and can't see a thing.